So, it's been 10 years since the victory at Marathon. The Greeks have had 10 years to prepare. By this time, Xerxes has taken over the Persian Empire. This is Emperor Xerxes, the son of Darius, and he is going to want revenge for the defeat at Marathon, for what his father had endured. Not just to punish Athens, not just a reprimand, but to destroy Athens. And not just Athens, but the entire Greece. All of Greece must be conquered now and added to the empire. So this makes, if you didn't like Darius and his empire, then this will make Xerxes the worst of the Persians. According to Greek accounts, the Persian accounts are completely different. This time he will build a massive army. Not quite the 250,000 that he could field, because he's got other fish to fry, but an army of, we think about 180,000 men. The Greeks will report it as 1,000,000. He sends 1,000,000 men against them. Probably more like 180,000 is a good number. He will organize a naval expedition. This army will be accompanied by 600 warships. So this will match anything the Greeks can do at sea. And then thousands of transports. The way that he's going to go, the way that Xerxes is going to go into Greece, he's going to need food. You see, Greece doesn't have a lot of food even for Greeks. If you're going to bring 100,000, 180,000 soldiers there, you're going to have to supply the food to them. There's only so much they can eat in Greece. So thousands of transport ships bringing the food every single day to give to the army. In other words, the army is going to have to stay near the coast, and that's how he's going to invade. He's going to invade Greece along the coast. He will actually build a bridge to Greece. From Asia Minor over into the Greek mainland, he will build a bridge over what was called the Dardanelles Straits. Today we know them as the Dardanelles. There's a great World War I battle there later on. He calls it the Hellespont, the bridge to Greece. They will actually build a bridge over this strait. And this will be shock of the world. You know, the Greeks watching him build this bridge, knowing that he's not coming just to defeat Athens, he's going to come and defeat all of Greece. And as he moves through northern Greece, he does. He's going to conquer city after city. They don't even fight. I mean, there's no way you can fight up in northern Greece. There's not enough Greeks up there. And so city after city will just give in. He will move into Macedonia. This is just north of the Greek mainland, kind of a forested area up there. And the Macedonians will surrender to him. And this is going to be public knowledge. I mean, the Greeks know he's coming. Every single day they know how much he's progressing as he moves closer and closer to Greece. And Xerxes becomes the symbol of arrogance to them. There are reports that he brings his golden throne and he lords it over these Greek cities and just eating them out of house and home. And his army is like a horde of locusts coming, and his navy dominates the sea. Here's the Persian route from Asia Minor, building a bridge right here over the Dardanelles, and then moving through these Greek cities over to Macedonia, and then getting ready to come into southern Greece, the Persian route by land, with the navy dominating the sea, transport ships supplying him as he moves. And surprise of surprises, it is the Spartans who go into action. If you remember the Battle of Marathon, the Spartans didn't respond to that. That was Athens' problem. But now Sparta acts, or at least some Spartans act. The man who acts is named King Leonidas. He is one of the two kings of Sparta, and he decides to leave Sparta and go fight these Persians. The rest of the city will not follow him. They think he's somehow crazy to leave Sparta and go fight in northern Greece. But he forces the issue. He's going to take his 300 Spartans, his personal bodyguard that obey him absolutely. He's going to leave the city of Sparta, march north over 100 miles, I think close to 200 miles from Sparta up to this pass. He's going to hold a pass. This is a narrow road junction with high ground on either side. It's at a place called Thermopylae. There is steam coming out of the earth. There is volcanic activity there at Thermopylae. The word means hot gates. This pass with steam on either side. The hot gates. To move from northern Greece to southern Greece, you pretty much have to go through here. And again, this is very strange. This would have taken the notice of everyone in Greece. Not just Sparta. The Spartans would definitely be screaming about this. Where are you going? You're taking 300 of our warriors away. But all of Greece would have talked about this. Every Greek city would have noted that, what is he doing? There are Spartans leaving Sparta. There are Spartans marching north to fight the Persians. Everyone would have taken notice. And they would have talked about this battle where these 300 Spartans fight for 3 days. There were other Greeks there too. It's not just the 300 Spartans, but that was the mass, the main core of these Greeks. This would have gained notice of everyone in Greece, that 300 Spartans, led by one of their kings, has held this pass for 3 days, calling for help, all the Greek cities to come and join him, and then they die. Eventually mown down on the third day by the Persian archers. The Persians actually end up surrounding the pass and massacring Leonidas and what's left of his 300. And there were other Greeks there too, not just the Spartans, but the Spartans were definitely the ones you would talk about. So what's the point of all this? This is a fantastic moment. Makes for great drama. But what's the point here? Why did this King Leonidas do that? Why did he march north to die with 300 of his warriors? Well, there's a lesson here, and the lesson is that not just 300 Spartans have died, that seems like a waste, but as a symbol to the Greeks that you've got to stand up and fight. If you don't fight these Persians, we're all going to possibly die. We'll never have this independence again. They will eat us up bit by bit. This is a flag from the American Revolution, which symbolizes kind of the idea of the American Revolution. If we don't stand together, the British will slice us up bit by bit. You have to join together or we're all going to die or be subjugated by the Persians. We'll lose our freedom, which is death to the Greeks. So we need to join or die. All these cities have got to join. Look at the Spartans. Look what King Leonidas did. He marched out. Surely you can march out. So that's the lesson of Thermopylae. They died in vain. Or they didn't die in vain. It seemed they died in vain, but maybe there's a lesson that they didn't die in vain. There's an epitaph for the Spartans. There's words on a rock there at Thermopylae. And if you read it, it might seem strange to you, but it basically explains that the Spartans, King Leonidas was not a criminal if you're a Spartan. That he left his city could be a criminal act, but he's not. O stranger passing by, Thermopylae, go tell the Spartans that here, obedient to our laws, we were not criminals. We didn't die breaking the law. We tried to save Sparta. We lie. O stranger passing by, go tell the Spartans that here, obedient to our laws, we're not lawbreakers. We lie. We died defending our city a long way from the city, which may need to leave Sparta in order to save Sparta. Well, our story goes on. Xerxes is not defeated by any means here. He was delayed by 3 days. He seemed perplexed, though, by the Spartans. But he marches on to Athens. There's nothing in his way, and he destroys the city. Athens is actually leveled to the ground here. The population, however, left. They knew the Persians were coming. They had plenty of warning. And the population will escape by sea. They will be on boats escaping from the city. Well, Athens has been working on a navy. This is what they've been doing in their 10 years. They have a phalanx, but they've also been working on their navy. And their navy is based off Piraeus near an island called Salamis. And actually, they've kind of put themselves into a bay, Salamis Bay, where there's no way out. They seem trapped. They seem trapped in this bay. As the Persian army comes and wrecks Athens, the Persian navy comes up and traps the Athenian navy. So this seems like a pretty bad move to trap yourself. This is a map showing Athens here. Here's the port of Piraeus. And then the Greek navy puts themselves back here in this bay with the Persian navy blocking them in. Seems like they're blocked. In fact, Xerxes figured this will be an absolute turkey shoot here. Xerxes brings his throne. Again, he's the symbol of arrogance. He will bring his throne so he can watch the destruction of the Athenian navy. He will put it on a hilltop so he can see the destruction of the Athenian navy. This is the definition of hubris, when you think that nothing can stop you. And if you know anything about the Greeks, he's bound to be punished here. So the Persian fleet sails into this bay, this narrow neck of water, to destroy the Athenian navy. The warship at this time is called a trireme. It's called a trireme because of the 3 levels of oars. 1, 2, 3 levels. There are actually 3 levels of oarsmen in there. And the weapon here is a ram on the front of the ship. I mean, you would have archers on board and stuff like that, but the main weapon, the main idea of combat then is to sail and hit or row and hit the enemy with your ram at the water line, and then that would sink the enemy. Then you would backpedal and get away from them as they sink. At the Battle of Salamis in 480 BC, the Persian Navy is forced into a small gap. They have to bring the Navy in piecemeal. It's kind of the naval version of Thermopylae, in that the Persian army had been forced into a small spot. Now the Persian Navy is forced into a small spot, and the Athenian Navy, much more maneuverable, rowed not by slaves now, but by hoplites. The hoplites have given up their armor and taken the oars here, and they're rowing for their city in combat, whereas the Persian Navy would be rowed by slaves who just row until they die. So it's a big difference of free men rowing versus slaves rowing. In the battle, the Persians will just send ships in piecemeal and they'll be destroyed. So the Persians end up losing 400 ships, just destroyed piecemeal, one after another, as Xerxes sends them in, and the Greeks lose 40. That is a massacre. That is a wipeout, as the Persians lose 400 and the Greeks lose only 40 ships. And again, the lesson of Salamis is that free men rowing for their city fight better than a navy rowed by slaves. Well, the key to this, and the reason we talk about Salamis, Thermopylae just kind of is a lesson of we need to get together. But Salamis is actually a very important victory for the Greeks, in that the Persian army now just got finished destroying Athens. There's nothing to eat. Now that the Persian Navy has been destroyed, the transport ships are vulnerable, and the Persian army has to retreat out of Greece back to Macedonia. And they will spend the winter now, the winter of 480 into 479, in winter in Macedonia, where there's actually food away from the Greeks. So it's a huge victory for the Greeks. But they will be back. Round 3 is coming. Round 3 in the spring of 479, here come the Persians again for the 3rd time, this massive army coming into Greece one more time. And the lesson of Thermopylae has finally hit home. The Greeks finally join together. They will meet at a place called Plataea as the Persians come south, the Greeks come north. They will meet at Plataea in 479. 120,000 Persians. If you'll notice, their numbers dropped from 180,000 now just down to 120,000. So they've lost a lot of Persian soldiers. And the Greek cities have united now, offering 100,000 men. This would have been all the major cities of Greece sending their phalanxes, giving command of the Spartans, by the way. The Spartans will take command of the battle. And 100,000 Greeks united now to fight the Persians in a massive 3-day battle. Plataea is about the only open spot in Greece that can handle 200,000 soldiers in one place, as these two armies collide into each other for 3 days. Until finally on the 3rd day, one of the Persian generals got struck on the head and died, and the Persian army broke apart and retreated out of Greece. So this is the big, huge battle, which you've probably never heard of before. You might have heard of Marathon, Thermopylae, but there's 2 other important battles. Salamis, which made the Persians go north, and the Battle of Plataea, which ended the threat once and for all. The Persians will break, retreat back to Macedonia, and then retreat all the way out of Greece. But I do want to make a point about this. This is a huge Greek victory. There's great celebration. They've defeated the empire now for a 3rd time. The first time at Marathon, the second time at Salamis, and then this 3rd time here at Plataea. But we're not done with this, are we? I mean, you've defeated the empire, but they're not gone. The Persian Empire does not go away here. But it's a great moment for Greece. But are we done with this?